Welcome all to our financial wellness podcast, From Roots to Fruits, where we nurture our roots to grow more delicious fruits. I'm your host, Arlyne. Let's get started. It was International Women's Day on the 8th of March, 2025. But March is officially the month for celebrating women and just shining a light over the rights that we deserve. And today, I just want to discuss what International Women's Day means to me and also throw in some helpful tools, helpful information, especially when it comes to managing finances for women. I think that this is a subject that is so close to my heart because when I had the opportunity to become an ambassador for women in leadership for CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, I asked myself, why? Like, why do I want to do this? And it was very clear to me that it's because I want to support others. I want to support younger women. I want to support girls, even older women. I want to support people that don't see themselves in leadership. And that includes women, that also includes Black people. So we also, with Roots to Fruits, we do support men as well. But this month, it's all about the ladies. So men, please listen and also be an ally. This isn't to divide us. This is to bring us together. If one person rises up, we all rise up. So I think we really need to remember that, especially with all the noise that we're hearing in the world today, especially when it comes to DE&I and the rollback of all of that coming from America. I mean, we've discussed this subject before on this podcast, and we have definitely highlighted that it's not just one country, it's a lot of countries. So the work that a lot of women did in the past has really benefited us now. It has benefited me, a young woman from Zimbabwe who was raised, as someone that should really just aspire to be married, aspire to just start a family. And that was it. So go to school, get your grades, get a degree, and then start a family. And that's that. Nothing else comes after that. But I always knew that there was something in me. I wanted to help other people. And also just remembering young Arlyne, who was, I don't know, very shy, couldn't find her voice, yet had loads of friends in primary school, but not a lot of friends in high school when I moved to the UK. I definitely think that if I had someone that I could see myself, like an adult that where I could be like, okay, no, I think they think the way that I do. They can see that, okay, there's more going on. You can aspire to be more without bringing anyone else down, because everyone has a right to dream. Everybody has a right to do what is placed within their hearts. So if someone just does aspire to be, a mom or just to start a family and wants to relax, that's absolutely fine. That is amazing, in fact. It's just that everybody is different. And I think what we need to fight for is for our right to do what we want, our right to be happy, our right to follow our passions, whether that is being creative, whether that is being an accountant, which a lot of people have sent me videos that accountants are boring and, to rebrand myself, but that's what I am. And if you want to be work in medicine or go to the army, it is all your right. Or if you just want to chill and be a soft babe and just go on holidays all the time, that is also your right. I just think when there's a lot of noise and discourse around what people should be doing with their lives, that's when we are in a very dangerous territory. So I just want to do what I can. And with Roots to Fruits and the team, we are trying to amplify women's voices and we want to empower women, especially this month, with our event that's coming up on the 15th of March. So a few days to go. I'm very nervous, very excited. And hopefully, if you're going to be there, excited to see you there, please come and say hello. We just want to support women, as I said. So let's get into the episode in terms of understanding what the theme this year. So why does acceleration actually matter? It matters because the gender pay gap still exists. So we've discussed this before. And for example, in the UK, women earn 14.9% less than men. And this varies depending on the type of role that they have. And at entry level, actually, it's okay. The gender pay gap is not that high. But as people start to go up the ladder in organizations, then the pay gap starts to increase. Another thing is that there are definitely financial inequalities and a wealth gap. We are going to have some experts around different areas. So someone that's going to come and talk to us about pensions and what we can do about the pension gap as well between men and women. And there's an investment gap, of course. Less funds are being invested in female business owned entrepreneurs. It is okay. Let's do that one again. And also investment, there is less money going to female entrepreneurs. It's really hard out there, especially for Black female entrepreneurs or ethnic minorities as well. And so this is something that really needs to be addressed quickly. We can see why. Clearly, when wealth is being held by a certain group of people, that means that they have the money, the funds, the resources to shape the world, and we can see it before our eyes what that actually means. So we need to invest in more female owned businesses so the right, with that wealth distribution makes more sense. And then now we've got a diverse group of voices in certain rooms. And of course, leadership, there is a massive gap in leadership. So 32% of senior leadership roles are women. So that clearly needs to change. It should be 50-50, don't you think? So we know the problem. So what? So what? What are we going to do about it? Now, I am a strong advocate for education. I've got a picture that I always put up on my wall of young me, and this just reminds me of who I was in Harare, Zimbabwe, a young girl that loved to learn, loved to read, and I'm still someone that wants to learn. I definitely do not think I know everything when it comes to finance, when it comes to life. I still want to grow and learn from others as well. So I think education is important because we all feel like we should have been taught how to manage XYZ when we were back in school. And I remember when I was in school taking it very seriously, because if you are African, you know what's drilled into your head. It's education is the key out of whatever struggle that you're currently in. And also that's something that you can fall back on too. So I think with everything that's happening in the world, we need more people to get educated on how to manage their finances, educated on their environment, their economy, politics, everything. We just need to make sure that everybody's thinking at the right level. And for women specifically, it affects their confidence. So many women that we have interviewed in the past or spoke to in the past have said that I don't know how to do this. I'm not confident on doing it, which is what stopped me from doing it. So for example, oh, have you done your budget this month? oh, I didn't get to do it because I just felt like it was so complicated, and then I stopped. So we're not even trying. We're not even trying because we don't have the confidence, because we haven't been taught how to. And that's where Roots to Fruits comes into play. We just want to educate people and empower them as well to manage their finances. So we asked women what they wish they learnt when they were in school in terms of how to manage their finances. And this is what they said.
Hi, my name is Kutsi, and three things that I wish I knew about finances when I was growing up is how important it is to not get yourself in debt, because it's money that you owe, and even if you have savings, it doesn't mean that you've got money when you've got debt. Also, that taking credit is actually imprisoning yourself. Living within your means is an important thing, and learning how to invest your money so that your money starts to work for you at a young age. Thank you.
Kudi is not alone. A lot of women feel like they should have learnt these things at a young age. I mean, the basics of how to manage your finances. So we are always talking about, the standard template of splitting your income 50, 30, 20. So 50% goes towards your needs, your fixed expenses like your rent, your mortgage, anything that is fixed and you definitely need to pay that. 30% goes towards your wants and your flexible expenses. So that could be the gym, that could be food, travel, that sort of thing. And then the rest goes towards savings and maybe paying off debt if you have debt, and investments potentially if you are there. So that's a basic template, and there's so many different ones where people I'm not saying that that is the only way to budget your finances, but it is an easy way to start. And yeah, that's somewhere where people should kind of like sit down and get comfortable in understanding how much is coming out of their bank, understanding their expenses. And I'm just going to insert this clip from a past podcast where Letitia shared how she would tackle managing her expenses, how she would start to put everything into categories on a month-on-month basis. Are there any other basics that you could share for people to just think about when they're starting out in terms of managing their finances?
Yes, actually, there's something that is very simple and nobody needs any fancy spreadsheet or any apps or anything like that. So get yourself a piece of paper and write in 2 columns. The first column is going to have everything that is essential to you, everything that keeps you alive and breathing. So you go in 1 column. And the other column, then you go and put everything that is outside of what keeps you alive and functioning. So in essence, you're going to list your essentials and your non-essentials. After that, what you can do is to go through every single item of that list and then see what you can cut, what you can reduce, and what you can replace. So, for example, your mortgage, right? You can't cut your mortgage and you can't replace because you need a place to live. But obviously, you might be paying rent or mortgage and it might be taking too much of your budget. Then obviously it needs to be revisited. But it's a very simple thing. And then after that, you can see if your money is actually going to where you want it to go. Is your money doing what you want it to do for you? And that's a very simple thing. And you don't need to be an expert with numbers. You don't need to, be a physician or mathematician to be able to do this. You can do it yourself today.
Quick break to talk about Roots to Fruits and all the amazing stuff we've got in store this year. So we have workshops, we've got coaching sessions, and we've got in-person events. So check out our website to find out which is the right solution for you. We're also on social media, so you can interact with us, comment, send a DM, whatever you'd like. I also like to tell you about our digital learning hub, where we've got all the tools. We've got workbooks, we've got Excel documents on there, we've got videos to talk you through how to do certain tasks depending on the module that you would like to focus on, whether that is saving, paying off your debt, or if you'd like to just have a general pulse on how to budget. We have all of that for you on our learning hub. So follow the link and see you there. Okay, so here's another interview. What do you wish you would have learned when you were younger around finances?
That it's actually possible to get out of debt, because my younger self, with the debt that I had then, I kept ignoring some of the red letters that came through the door, but actually knowing that you can speak to them and you can sort of work out a plan and pay off, that it's possible to pay off debt. But though I've accumulated more, which I am working on.
So what I would have liked to learn or known when I was young about finances is that free money is not free. It's not free money. So loans, credit cards are easy to get, but you have to pay them back. And that part is harder than people actually think. Because you think, oh, okay, I've got a credit card for £2,000. I can pay £2,000 back. You spend it, but paying it back is actually pretty hectic. So yeah, that I wish I'd known that earlier.
There is, again, debt is something that causes a high level of stress. It is, financial stress is the leading cause of stress, and it can be something that a lot of people just want to bury their heads. And this could be from, an individual having a credit card through to maybe people that have loans or, long-term debt like mortgages. If you lose your job, you don't know how to pay your mortgage, through to business owners that I've been supporting to have a debt repayment plan and understand how they can come out of the hole that they're in. So it doesn't matter how much you earn. A lot of people are going through different struggles. And yeah, when it comes to like paying off your debt, you just have to be strategic. We have had a few workshops around that specific subject that I will share the link to. And also there's loads of information, free information here on, any platform. You can look for like strategies on how to pay off your debt. And I have talked through it as well in different episodes. So I will link the right episode to this section.
I wish I was taught about mortgages, because it's something that I still don't understand to this day. And as a young person, I want to be able to buy a house. People have made it sound easy, but from research and speaking to other people, it seems a lot more complex than it is. So I think it's an important subject that should be taught at home and in schools and in educations on just how important money is on a daily basis and in life, really. Yeah.
So some countries actually don't have mortgages, and a mortgage is essentially a long-term loan. It is a form of borrowing money to purchase, a property. And this is something in the UK that feels like, okay, that's simple. I just borrow some money and then, yeah, I'll pay back. But there are a lot of rules. There's a lot of contingencies as well. So thinking about like your credit score, is your credit score, how's that looking? A lot of people don't check their credit score, and also their affordability as well. How much are you earning, and which house or property do you want to buy? Therefore, can you afford to get that property? What are the list of debts that are, on your file? So if your money is promised elsewhere, then the mortgage provider will assume that you can't afford to pay as much as you might think you can. So there's a lot of things around mortgages that a lot of people have asked in the past. And this is something that could help you grow your wealth if you know how to work the system and, if you want to buy a property for yourself or buy a property as an investment, that sort of things. That's another one that we're going to be learning from for the ladies from the Brand Skin Girl Network, and they're going to be letting us know how they've managed to build a great portfolio of property investments. We are going to also record some snippets from the event on the 15th of March, and hopefully we'll share some info if you can't attend, because I know a lot of people that aren't based in London watch this podcast now, which is so exciting. So if you can't attend, we will be posting some snippets, not the whole thing, of course. But yeah, so stay tuned. Next week will be all about highlights, or maybe the week after, it will be all about the highlights from Empower Her, Grow Your Wealth.
So I would have loved to learn about budgeting and investing, because I feel like we're just taught to save, but it's also important to invest and have a budget and a plan.
Exactly this. I think at first you need to understand your budget and then learn how to invest. And you can do this through various ways. Again, I'm going to leave this to the expert to explain on how the steps towards investing and how they will go about it. So I'll insert the clip here.
So it's important to understand those basic concepts, and also it's important to understand investment risk. I explored that earlier. Mm-hmm. And the best thing about educating yourself is you don't just have to read the book, which I still recommend doing, read the book, but also there's so many different resources available online. You can go to like Investopedia, for example, for some investment data. There's articles on the Financial Times, the Daily Mail, any respectable newspaper or media organization. They offer decent resources for those who are looking to start investing, even investment platforms. So, I work for Interactive Investor, and we have plenty of guides and plenty of features just aimed at getting people who are nervous about investing, to provide them the confidence so that they can feel empowered to actually take their first steps in investing. So, yeah, step number one, I'll say, is to educate yourself. Step number two is to set yourself clear financial goals. So you really have to determine what you want to achieve with your investment. So we were talking about this earlier about pensions. Are you saving for retirement? Or perhaps you're saving to buy your first property, or maybe you're saving to fund a master's, for example, or just some other big purchase. It's really important to have clear goals before you invest, because your goals will determine your investment strategy. And I know this sounds really, really basic, but it's so true. You have to start with a budget. You have to make sure that you have a solid budget in place. So you have to track every coin that goes into and comes out of your bank account to understand your financial position. I always say to people, if you have high interest debt, you have to make sure that your debt position is stable. So if you have any high interest debt, I'm not counting student debt, because I think that student tax, that's something different, and that's not really considered within your overall debt position anyway. But make sure you pay off your high interest debts. Make sure you pay off your debts before you invest, because think about it, if you have a high interest debt, that the interest on that debt loan is unlikely to be outstripped by your investment returns. So sort out your debt and then focus on your investment. Make sure you have your financial position is shored up enough so that you can actually afford to invest. So that's really, really crucial. And also it's important. Sorry, Arlyne.
No, go on.
No, I was about to say, when it comes to financial positions, it's also important to have a rainy day fund. You have to have money that's easily accessible, so like in an easy access account, just to pay for things happen in life. A boiler can break, for example, so it's important that you have money that you can access in order to fund the repair of a boiler or something similar. Yeah, I think investments might sound complex, but it really it's not that complex. I'll just say, again, just going from my own experience, just start off simply. You don't have to invest in ridiculous high risk propositions to make money. Slow and steady wins the race. Diversify your portfolio. Give your portfolio enough time to actually make money for you. Invest in turn. Well, people like myself will say, if try to lock up your money for at least like 5 years before, if you invest, if you can lock up your money for at least 5 years, just to give your investments time to grow. So that's one thing. To beware, make sure you get your educational resources from trusted people, trusted websites. Beware of what you see on social media, and make sure you know the reason why you invest in. I think one thing is some people get carried away. Some people look at what other people are doing and they forget that investment is a very personal journey. Think about your own financial goals, because that would dictate the investment strategy you should take. And again, don't believe everything you see on social media. Some people just completely lie about perhaps the returns they made. Some people are really pushy about investment products. They might have ulterior motives. So just question things that just don't seem quite right. And finally, just start small. Start small. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be extremely wealthy to invest. Investing is open to all. Start small and automate your investments.
When it comes to investing, a lot of people join the Roots to Fruits workshops asking, okay, how do I start to invest? And we say that we're not investment advisors. And also, we want you to have a good understanding of your basics first before you go there. So have you worked out what your budget is? Have you started to save? Have you, signed up for an ISA? Have you started to do the basics, the intro stuff that you could do on your own? You could go to your bank and get support in how to start. And also, have you paid off all your debt? Now let's think about investing and what does that look like for you, and go away and do loads of research, because more and more people are getting scammed now when they try to invest and their money just disappears. So you just have to be so careful when we are now sold that you can get rich so quickly. Just invest in this and you'll get 100% times 200% back in return from your investment. And it's like, okay, if it sounds too good to be true, it just might be. That's not the point of this episode today. We definitely are going to have a few episodes dedicated towards fraud, scams, and everything in that nature that I've been researching for a few months now, and we're preparing it as a nice podcast, season, so that you get a few episodes to really get into. Okay, so that was a lot of information, and here are my final thoughts for this week. Let's accelerate action by supporting female-owned businesses. Buy from female entrepreneurs, and then we can bridge the economic gap. Support charities as well that support women, especially refugees, especially women that have been impacted by domestic abuse, and whether they were a child of it or they are the woman that was abused. Please support the charities, as well as supporting moms too, in whatever situation that they're in, whether they've gone back to work or they're on maternity leave. Support women in the different stages of their lives. We need to close the wealth gap, and that includes mentoring and sponsoring and developing women in the workplace. So if you are someone who is a manager or you're in a senior position, then definitely invest in women in your company and just be that mentor that can help them and give them the confidence. You could even be a man in this position. I've had loads of mentors that are men, and they've been really great at giving me the advice and the support, and you get a different perspective from them as well, because they're allies and they think a little bit differently. Well, at least the mentors that I've had thought really strategically, and a lot of the information or a lot of the advice that they gave me was to be practical and to think of your outcome and just stick to that, and also articulate yourself very clearly. Be confident in rooms so that your voice is heard and people remember you. So when you then have the opportunity to get a promotion, which will help you financially, then they think of you first because you have been vocal in your job and you have been providing solutions as well. So think about that. Advocate for women. Let's be loud. The only way that, people or women in the past have had the rights and things have been overturned and we are where we are right now, it's because of people standing up for what they believe in. So if there's something that's happening in the world that you're like, I don't agree with that, do not be scared. Stand up and say something. And lastly, encourage conversations about money. Now, you don't have to be an expert in it. Just ask someone, your friends, your family, your work colleagues. Just talk about finances, especially if you have a question about your own finances. Find your safe space in terms of who you can talk to about your financial situation. Reach out to us as well. We've got financial wellness coaches that are certified and ready to talk and support you throughout your journey. Financial empowerment starts with breaking the stigma around discussing salaries, investments, and wealth building strategies. International Women's Day is not just about one day, and it's not just a day of recognition. Actually, it's about taking tangible steps towards a world where women have equal opportunities to thrive. It is about giving women the confidence and empowering them to do whatever they desire to do, if that's their passion. And this year, it's not just about celebrating women, although we definitely need to celebrate women more and do not bring them down. In fact, raise them up, lift them up. Let's accelerate action, drive real change, and build a future where every woman has the power to shape their financial and professional destiny. That is all for us today, guys. Join us next week for some more seeds to sow. And please remember to support us by following and leave a rating on our show on whichever platform you're listening to us from. To those watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscribe to our channel. All of your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep shining.